Hi there everyone, welcome to Violet's Dream Tarot. So today we are going to do a reading based upon what your spirit guides want to tell you. And as I've been doing recently, I shuffled cards for each of the piles. We have 3 piles today. And actually the cards that came out were Ascended Masters, all of them. So this deck includes sort of archangels and some deities, but what came out were 3 Ascended Masters. So I am sure that the Ascended Masters are also joining today to give messages along with your spirit guides. I also have some Ancestors cards to pull from today. So we'll be getting messages from plenty of different sources, all under the umbrella, I guess, of your spiritual team. So various different guides and guardians sort of chipping in today. Now, as you can see, and as I mentioned, we have 3 piles. And basically, in order to choose, just kind of take a deep breath and think, what would my spirit guides like to tell me, or what would my spiritual team like to tell me, depending on how you prefer to phrase it. And we'll take a closer look at the cards and decks involved now. So over on pile 1 we have Serapis Bey Ascension, and we're using the Sun and Moon Tarot for that reading. And I encourage you to choose based on what you're drawn to intuitively. So not necessarily your favorite color or favorite Ascended Master or the deck that you like the sound of the most, but just what you are drawn to with your intuition. On pile 2, we have Melchizedek, Higher Learning. And the deck that we're using with that one is the Tarot of the Magical Forest. And then on pile 3, we have Master Jesus, Forgiveness. Love the color of this card. And the deck we're using is the Neopets Tarot. So those are our piles. So we have 1, 2, and 3. You might feel drawn to more than one pile, and that's perfectly fine. You know, it's okay. You might have lots of messages coming through for you today. I encourage you to watch both piles if that's the case. And, you know, it might be that there are some messages there that you can discard, but, you know, I'm sure there will be plenty that are resonant with you. So those are your piles. You can go back to the start of the video or just pause the screen if you need more time to decide. As I said, I really encourage choosing through your intuition and not just through, you know, what you like the look of the most or what you would normally go for in a logical way. And yeah, when you guys are ready, I will get started with pile number 1. Hi there, Group 1. Welcome to your reading for those of you who chose Serapis Bey Ascension. This card says, move into your true self, rise above the darkness, the light is here. So that is a message for you to start out your reading. So I'll just put your card there. We're going to be using the Sun and Moon Tarot, as I mentioned in the intro. Really like this deck. And for those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you who are long-term subscribers, welcome back. Essentially, for those of you who are new, just to give you some context to the way I do my readings, because it might differ from some of the other readers that you've watched before. Basically, I always pull a few tarot cards and sort of lay them out on top. And then I fill up the rest of the mat with oracle cards from various different decks that I've selected for this reading. And then after that, we do a few different things. It's usually charms and dice that we put on top, and that's what we're using for today's reading as well. But sometimes we'll also do things like divination tokens, rune stones, etc. What else have I got? I have like a book of answers, like a big book that you open intuitively, and that page gives you an answer. So I have lots of different media, which I really love using in addition to the cards, and I think it really diversifies your reading, and it's also super validating when you get the same message or numbers, words, symbols, colors across various different media. So I hope that gives you some context to the way I do my readings, and let's get right into it. We'll start with your tarot, as I mentioned. So Group 1, what do your spirit guides want to tell you? What message do your spiritual team have for you today? Okay, group 1. So you have King of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. I really love this deck. The imagery and sort of atmosphere of the cards is really beautiful. So all of the water signs showing up there. Then you have, oh goodness, the Eon, Judgment. So a major arcana card. Then you have Four of Swords, Truce. And the Emperor, which is also number 4. And Aries aligned. Okay, so all of the water signs and Aries, and you have King of Cups, the Judgment card, Four of Swords, and the Emperor. So group 1, I'm going to hop straight into your Oracle cards, but based on what I'm seeing, your spirit guides would like you to take a break from something in order to make a better decision about it, because I kind of feel like you've been battling between head and heart. You feel very strongly about things, but also there are other logical implications that you need to consider. And ultimately, your spirit guides are telling you to really trust your own judgment. Like, you really have a strong ability when it comes to making a judgment call, but just perhaps you've gotten so kind of like enmeshed and tightly wound up in this situation that you can't really see the wood for the trees anymore, or you've become very like, you've thought about it so much that it's just so draining and it's being blown out of proportion for you. So taking a little bit of a breather will allow you to recover your strength and then look at the situation again with fresh eyes, group 1. Cinnamon, reignite. Yeah, so take a break and then come back stronger is what this is saying. I love cinnamon. Often love to have cinnamon on my porridge in the morning. That's my favorite breakfast. Or I make cinnamon pancakes as well, or cinnamon tea, like tea that has cinnamon infused in it, is also really lovely. Innocence, Daisy and the peacock butterfly. Okay, innocence, that is really interesting because, you know, I mentioned that you feel quite strongly about this. This is a situation in which you are really, what's the word, like emotionally invested because you have very strong feelings about it. And perhaps that is because it is a situation in which, from your perspective, there's like a clear right and wrong, but then there are also these other nuances and complications that you need to consider. And so maybe doing the right thing is difficult or tricky or might lead to negative ramifications. It's really interesting. I do feel like your spirit guides here are telling you, though, that you are not to blame. Group 1, whatever this is, you are not to blame. You are innocent in this situation. This is perhaps something that's been thrust upon you kind of unfairly. Maybe you've been asked to make a decision on behalf of another person and you don't really feel qualified or like it's your place to do that. Maybe decisions or like options have been taken out of your hands, and so now you feel like you have been unfairly and through no fault of your own placed in a situation where the best options have already been taken off the table. Last quarter moon in Sagittarius, practice gratitude. So you are strongly getting like water and fire signs showing up in your reading. Group 1. So practice gratitude. Be aware of the things, I guess, that you're already grateful for. And maybe that's something you can do during this break period, this truce situation. You can practice being aware of the things that are going well. Being aware of the fact that you've still, or will hopefully still avoid the worst case scenario in this situation, even if some of the better options have been taken out of your hands. The base card here is also be proud of yourself, last quarter moon in Taurus. So your spirit guides would like you to acknowledge how far you've come or how much you've had to face up to in order to get to this point. Group 1. Cleaning house, number 37. Okay, so for some of you, this is like a very specific, mundane message of you need to have a clear out, you need to tidy up or clean things. Maybe that has become an overwhelming situation. Maybe this is not, your fault. Maybe other people have trashed your house, or you're being asked to help out with a relative who is a hoarder or who has really neglected their home situation due to, mental health concerns or life events, adverse life events. And now you're kind of like, I want to do this because it's the right thing to do, but my God, it's going to take months and it's going to be backbreaking work. That's the kind of feeling that I have where you are involved in a situation, and obviously for most of you it won't be this extremely specific situation. This might only be one person's message, but like you are involved in a situation where there is a clear right and wrong in terms of like morally wanting to help, or this person is in the right, or this person deserves this outcome. But there are these other nuances that you are taking into account that just complicate things. Also with cleaning house, this can be taken in a more abstract sense, not just physically cleaning up, but also, taking care of your surroundings more generally. So you might want to, or perhaps not want to, but this might be a time when you are choosing to step back from certain relationships, maybe going no contact or low contact with people who aren't right for you, who are dragging you down. Perhaps also you're doing something like a social media detox where you're not spending time online on those kinds of websites, or you are culling people from your socials who don't really deserve to be there. But it's a lot of pain and upheaval because every person reminds you of certain memories, and to do that, to take that action means having to confront them and reignite them, and be reminded of them once more. Cleaning house could also be to do with financials. Maybe your finances aren't in the best position and you really need to take ownership of that. Could also be to do with reordering your routine or your lifestyle. It has lots of different applications, but all of it fits really nicely with the Judgment card, and especially the Emperor card, because that is really about taking control and reordering things into a more efficient and effective way of running. Turtle spirit, slow and steady wins the race, number 62. So your spirit guides are not expecting you to, have a lightning turnaround of this situation. They are acknowledging that this is something that will probably take time, that will probably take time not only for you to get this done, but also for you to sort of confront this situation. As I mentioned, a lot of you are dealing with very emotional problems or situations that are very steeped in memories and emotions that you kind of don't want to retouch or reignite, as we mentioned. You'd rather just leave them alone and kind of let sleeping dogs lie. But you are being encouraged to confront this. And what's nice is your base card here is freedom is yours, horse spirit 33. So confronting this, although it may be very painful and difficult or tedious, while you're doing it, really helps you in the long run, really sets you free. Now these are your ancestor cards. So your ancestors are saying, enjoy music, instruments, sound, tone. So for those of you that are rolling your sleeves up and cleaning or clearing out things from your home or the home of another, doing this to music will really help. It will help the time go more quickly. It will keep your mood more buoyant. So do consider using music in that way. For others, this is a message of sound healing being helpful, helping you to get through a difficult experience, helping you to heal the void that may be left by some of these actions. Equally, singing, dancing, playing an instrument, if you have that skill, can also be a powerful healer or an aid that helps you through this period of time. Number 27 here, I take the path of love and devotion. And look, he's playing a drum. So yeah, there is that message there of music helping you through singing, dancing, sound healing. When I heal, the world heals is your base card, number 30. Really something here about setting yourself free from something you've been carrying around, something that's been heavy. I take the path of love and devotion. This is also a powerful message for those of you that are having to really motivate yourself to like help another person, because you know that that help is going to be so draining and so tiring, or, you know, even those that aren't helping others, and this is just to do with you, like the choice that's right is sometimes a difficult, painful, tedious choice. And so you're choosing to take that path, but your spirit guides are acknowledging that you are doing this bravely, and you know, you are doing this with a heavy heart, some of you, because you're having to acknowledge the difficulties that you might face along the way. Swift. Stay true to your heart's desire and keep nature in your heart and home. Now, this is interesting. Stay true to your heart's desire seems to fit well with take the path of love and devotion, but also this again mentions the home. Keep nature in your heart and home. So a lot of you, this really is to do with boundaries around your immediate living space. It doesn't have to be your physical home, but perhaps like the people that you spend the most time with. Some of you might be looking for a new job, you know, because that is in some ways home, because you're spending pretty much every day there, and so much of your waking time is spent around colleagues and working. So, you know, if you're miserable there, then that is so much of your life that's being negatively impacted. But equally, looking for a new job and going through that process is so tiring and draining and takes a lot of time and effort. So, you know, I'm really feeling this sense of you standing on this crossroads of knowing I have to do this thing. It is the only thing that is going to set me free, that is going to, you know, improve my life, but also the level of effort involved is also huge, you know, is also not to be underestimated. Number 1, the Knight, Mercury. Okay, so the Knight indicates good news on its way, some kind of positive news or encouragement, or like the message you've been waiting for, whether that's a positive decision or it's an approval of some kind, is coming towards you. So be on the lookout for that phone call, that email, that message, that letter in the post that is going to confirm things for you. Also, I like this in general because like good news to me indicates that things are getting better, or things are going to improve, transform for you. This fits, I guess this is a more spiritual way of looking at things, but ascension, you know, move into your true self, rise above the darkness, the light is here. That really does fit with this situation. But also, yeah, I really want to acknowledge and validate for you, Group 1, that this is no easy decision, and that there is effort involved, and that while this does have, or seem to have, a very positive outcome for you, like this is not a decision you're making lightly, and your spirit guides are really acknowledging that. And then here you have take your time. Yep, so that message again of slow and steady wins the race. There is no rush. While I think it's important to get started whenever you can and not put things off, I do think that there's no rushing this situation. And this will hopefully resonate for those of you who are like, I've already started and I'm getting knocked back, or I'm really feeling how difficult it is. You know, like it's very rare to get the first job you apply to. You know, some people have to apply to tens or even hundreds of jobs before they get that offer. And that's not to dissuade you. It's just to acknowledge from your spirit guide's side that they are with you while you go through this difficult situation. And then you have this lovely message here of self-confidence. So have confidence in yourself and what you're doing. You know, it's not easy by any stretch, but equally it is also really beneficial. Like you do get a lot of benefit and reward from doing this, group one. So this is a worthwhile thing to put your effort into. So let's look at your charms and dice now, group one. So we'll start with your charms. I'm going to pull them from my charm tin here. Okay, group one. So your spirit guides would like to say, well, firstly, you have 2 crosses here. And to me, the crosses are symbols of faith and trust and confidence. This one also rolled away. As you know, you might be getting that from a faith, as in from a religion or from your spirituality, but also you might just be getting that from within, you know, the strength that you're drawing on. So really have faith in yourself, trust that things will work out. This one is the jade ball. So this is a symbol of career and finances, money, wealth. So for a lot of you, this is tied to your work or how you earn money, what you do with the money when it comes in, like your savings, investments, etc. If you have them, any assets you have, whether that's property, your car, expensive tech, jewelry, etc., how you're kind of taking care of that and managing it. Then you have a tree, Christmas tree. This indicates winter time. So that is just a timing marker for some of you. You know, maybe this is connected to something that sort of kicked off around winter, or maybe you're trying to get things in order before winter comes, because that's going to be such a busy time, or that's going to be when you have other things you're going to need to think about. You've got the worry thread here. Your spirit guides are really acknowledging the anxiety and the stress and the worry that you do feel. But you're being shown a shooting star. This is a really, really beautiful charm, which indicates a wish coming true. This is time to make a wish, to, you know, say a prayer, because a wish will be granted around this time. Hand of Fatima. This is also really lovely, the hamsa. This lets you know that you are being divinely protected from a higher source. So your spirit guides are watching over you and your ancestors, and I believe other guardians as well. What else do we have? Aha, the musical symbols. So group one, there's something really musical about you guys. Really creative. Maybe you enjoy making music, and that's a way that you really relax and have your downtime. Maybe you love singing, dancing, playing an instrument, or maybe it is just the message of sound healing being beneficial for some of you. Take what resonates, but you've had that symbol and imagery and message so many times now, and that's really why I love using not just cards but other media as well, because I think it's so nice when you get that like double validation, or in this case like at least triple validation. Olive branch as well. Okay, so some of you trying to forgive, move on, make peace with something, reach out to someone to try and, you know, set all differences to rest. You do have the little bunny here, which makes me think of children and childhood friends, childhood interests, what you wanted to do career-wise when you were a kid, having fun, making time for downtime, play, healing your inner child. All of those have relevance for this charm. What's this one? Oh yeah, also the little teddy bear. You know, that's very similar. This to me symbolizes nostalgia and sentimentality. So some of you really are being confronted with things from the past. You know, as I said, when you're deleting people from your socials, every person is reminding you of certain things. Or when you're clearing things out, you know, you're seeing things from your childhood, or you're seeing things from that time in the past that just like catches you, and you're like, oh my God, and just holding that thing, just whatever it is, just brings you to tears. So I'm really, you know, seeing that this is a very moving experience for you, group one. This is not at all something that you're doing lightly, or that is by any means easy, but it does seem to be necessary. And it seems like once you've gone through this, once you've laid this to rest, once you've completed whatever it is that you know that you need to do at this time, you really feel such a sense of relief and freedom, and like you're no longer carrying around a burden like on your chest, in the pit of your stomach. You're not carrying that unresolved worry or feelings around with you anymore, group 1. That is what your spirit guides are saying. So you also have a sunflower here. This is a country marker for Ukraine. Maybe some of you have Ukrainian ancestry, or you are dealing with someone with a Ukrainian name, even if they're not from there. The sunflower is also a symbol of confidence and blossoming and blooming and just really coming into your own. It's a real symbol of brightness and happiness and, you know, as I said, self-confidence. The little star winking here is so cute. The winking star kind of says to me, everything's going to be okay. It's fine, you know, not to make light of the worries you're experiencing, but the little wink from the star is like, don't worry, it's going to be okay. I'll make sure of it, you know. So definitely your spirit guides are really here to let you know that you're being taken care of, that you haven't been forgotten or overlooked. Your prayers aren't going unheard or unanswered, group 1. This lovely unicorn symbol is another country marker actually for Scotland. So just as with the sunflower with Ukraine, you know, there could be some of you dealing with people from Scotland or with that ancestry or with that kind of name. You know, when I say name, it doesn't mean that someone is necessarily from Ukraine or from Scotland, but maybe their first name is Katerina, or their surname is MacDonald or whatever, you know, and that's the connection here, this little validation for some of you. Also, the unicorn is really nice to show up because it is a symbol of innocence and purity, and you literally got the innocence card. So, as I said, I love to see these validations throughout the cards and charms and everything else. So you are definitely not to blame in this situation, group 1. Even if it's your actions that have brought about this situation, your spirit guides are kind of saying that was all you could have done at the time, like with the information you had or with the way that you were feeling. That was genuinely the best that you could have done at the time. You did what you could. Now we're here, but that doesn't mean that you should be blaming yourself or carrying around guilt or a sense of burden. Just married as well. The just married charm. I'm not sure how well you can read that. Just bring it up. So this charm kind of points obviously towards marriage and weddings. Maybe some of you are like clearing out the home that you shared with your former partner or something, or you're like going through a divorce right now and dealing with all of the acrimonious communication that brings. But group 1, you know, this is going to work out better. Maybe some of you, you know, slightly different situation, but maybe some of you are faced with the enormous, for some people, tedious task of planning a wedding. And you're like, oh my God, you know, I can't believe there's so much that I have to consider and think about and approve and buy, and wow, you know, and that's kind of overwhelming when you're also dealing with this big change and milestone that's going to happen for you. So that charm won't make sense for everyone, but for some of you it will, and you know, just take what resonates for you. So let's round up with your dice now, group 1. So let's firstly see which of my 10 sets of dice we're going to be using. Okay, that's 10. 0 on this 10-sided dice means 10. So that is the 10th set of dice, which are the Scooby-Doo themed dice. So let me just grab those. And now I'm going to roll again to see how many of them we're going to roll, because each set of my dice has 9 individual dice in it. Okay, so we're rolling 7 of them for you. Lovely. Okay. What can I see here? Okay, so you have the crossroads splitting up as a team. You know, that's always what Fred says in Scooby-Doo. Let's split up and look for clues. So, you know, some of you are dealing with a separation, people going their separate ways. For some of you also, this is just something that you have to do alone. It's something that only you can really deal with. For others, this is a message from your spirit guides to try and divide and conquer. If you have lots of tasks, maybe try splitting them into smaller tasks, or in some instances, see if there is someone that can help you. You have the witch doctor here. This to me is a symbol of healing, maybe through alternative or unusual practices, like the sound healing, you know, an alternative healing source. You also have this one here. This is the person who is like, this is the classic sort of Scooby-Doo or cartoon trope. They're turning around the sign so that it shows a different direction. Okay, so this is like a detour, a curveball, a bump in the road, you know, something happening where you end up having to pay more money perhaps, or spend more time on something than you would have liked to because the initial approach wasn't working. You know, take what resonates with your situation, but it does feel as though there is something just to be aware of, because you may be able to preempt this if you find yourself getting, you know, down a path that doesn't quite feel right or feels like it's going to be more trouble than it's worth. Whilst attempting to complete this situation, just be aware of that, that there may be a harder way of doing things. You know, it might be a difficult situation all round, but there may be a harder way of going about things. Some of you will already know what I'm talking about when I say that, so just bear that in mind. Equally, for some of you with witch doctor and this like person tricking us, there may be someone trying to pull the wool over your eyes, someone being untruthful or you know, not fully honest in a situation. That will especially apply, you know, perhaps for some of you that are going through disputes or divorces or breakups. Equally, potentially with, you know, trying to get a new job, you might be tempted to, you know, bend the truth a little bit. But I feel like that could come back to bite you. Or you might be dealing with a dishonest employer that you're trying to get away from. Just take what resonates. But for some of you, there is an element of this person's not being fully honest with me, or this person is acting purely for their own benefit and not for mine. You have the big vaulted door here. So potential new opportunity, new path, new beginnings. Whenever I see a door, I think of like a new path or new opportunities, new options there for you. If you can go through all of the upheaval of opening it, you know, finding the key or moving all of these big, heavy, stiff, rusty locks, and then giving it the effort that you need to push it open. That may be like an illustration of what your situation feels like. Also here, again, it's like someone, he's tapping the guy's shoulder and then pointing in this other direction. It's like he's trying to make him feel like someone else is there, or like a ghost maybe is there, given that it's Scooby-Doo. So there is definitely someone trying to misdirect you, group one. Really, your spirit guides are drawing your attention to the fact that not everyone here is fully honest or is fully on your side. Like, people in this situation have their own interests ultimately that they will try to safeguard. And so just be aware that advice that you take that isn't from a completely impartial third party is not necessarily reliable, you know. And when I say completely impartial third party, that's not your friends and family, because they have their own interests as well, you know, based on what they want the outcome to be for you or what they've been through. You know, an impartial third party would be a legal professional or a medical professional or someone who is in the business of sorting out this kind of situation. So just be aware of that, because we've got that a couple of times now. So your spirit guides are trying to alert you to this in advance so that you can hopefully avoid it. And then finally, you have two dice that I think are probably related. So you have the big sandwich, the kind of big stacked sandwich that Shaggy always likes to make and Scooby always likes to make. And then you have the famous Scooby snacks that always motivate Shaggy and Scooby to do things that they're frightened of or that they don't want to do. So when I see the sandwich, I just think more generally about nutrition. So like, take care of yourself on that really basic level. Make sure that you are eating well, drinking enough water, getting the vitamins and minerals that you need, getting enough sleep, getting enough downtime. Like, it kind of stands as a catch-all for that kind of thing, and equally try and avoid things that aren't good for you, whether it's too much sugar or whether it's too much alcohol or other substances. You know, you might be someone who previously used to smoke, for example, and you've been, you know, on the straight and narrow with that for a long time, but this very stressful situation might tempt you to start smoking again because it's a stress reliever for many people. And this is a message of, please try your best not to fall off the wagon, as they say. Like, try and divert, you know, find other stress relief mechanisms that you can, that aren't going to end up, you know, making you feel less good than you did previously before all of this started. And maybe that's also partly what the witch doctor is pointing to, you know, like something that kind of offers you some kind of relief, maybe in the short term, but isn't actually the cure, or isn't actually, you know, long term what's best for you. And the Scooby snacks, you know, it's like motivating yourself to do this thing that you're frightened of, or that you are aware is going to be difficult, or, you know, tedious or whatever, and yet you're able to find the strength from somewhere, whether it is comfort food or what, you know. You're able to motivate yourself with something, group one. And so your spirit guides are asking you to try and identify what that thing might be, so that you can fully see this task through to completion, because I feel like there is such a level of freedom and benefit and achievement that you get once this is complete. But in order to bring it to completion, you need to find that strength from somewhere, whether it is your faith, or whether it is, you know, the support of other people, or whether it's, you know, eating well, giving yourself the odd treat with food, or buying yourself a little present every time you reach a certain milestone with regards to this, or, you know, whatever it is, just taking care of yourself and motivating yourself. It could even just be the knowledge of what things are going to look like once you complete this, that you hold on to that image, and that motivates you to keep going. So really, really impactful reading, group one. This seems like such a tough situation that you found yourself in, and I'm so sorry that you're having to go through this. And I just pray and hope that you find the strength to get through it, because your spirit guides are here and they're saying, you know, we're trying to help, we're trying to offer protection and insight, but also there needs to be some other kind of motivation from your end. And so hopefully you can find it as a result of this reading. Maybe it triggers a thought that makes you think, actually, if I went about it like this, you know, I would be able to get there, or I'd feel better about it. So hopefully this has been helpful. Thank you so much for spending your time with me here today. It's really been an honor and a pleasure to do this reading for you. I'd love to hear more in the comments. If you could share your situation a little bit, or if you could just let me know whether it resonated, I would love to hear from you. And if you did enjoy this video, please do consider liking, sharing, subscribing. All of that massively helps out my channel, and I really appreciate it on a personal level as well. Equally, as I don't have a regular uploading schedule at the moment, it's probably best to be subscribed and have notifications switched on, just so that you're aware of when I'm posting. And also, since I've come back from my hiatus, YouTube is being kind of strange and the algorithm doesn't seem to be showing my videos very frequently. So this is also a way, I think many of my subscribers aren't aware that I'm posting again. So this is also a way to hopefully know that I'm posting if you are subscribed and have your notifications switched on, because then you will be obviously notified when I do upload. So I really hope you've enjoyed this group one. Have a lovely rest of your day. Good luck with this situation, and take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Hi there, group two. Welcome to your reading. If you chose Melchizedek, Higher Learning, and the Tarot of the Magical Forest, this one is for you. So this card says you have learned from experience. More inner study is now required to further progress. So that could be connected to your reading. It's certainly a message from your spirit guides. Maybe the focus of the reading is going to be something else, but we can still take that as relating to another area of your life. So let's get your tarot cards out first, just to give some context to those of you that are new to my readings. I always put some tarot cards out here, and then I fill the mat, or the rest of the mat, with oracle cards. And then once we've looked at those, we move on to other media. So that can be charms, dice, tokens, runestones, like a book of answers, a divination book. Usually it's charms and dice, but sometimes we have these other things either as well as or instead of, just to mix things up a little bit. So today we're getting tarot, oracle, charms and dice, and that's how it's going to pan out. So just make sure that you stay tuned for your full reading, various different things going on. So group 2, what do your spirit guides want to tell you? What message do they have for you? Okay, so we have 6 of Pentacles. Then you have the 3 of Pentacles. Okay, so starting out with some Pentacles cards, some earth energy. Then we have the Fool. And Judgment, and group 1 got Judgment as well. Interesting. So Fool and Judgment really shows that this is a time of like fresh starts, new beginnings for you. Group 2, this is possibly a time when you're having to make decisions that might seem frightening, or, you know, just like big changes that you're trying to make. 6 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles both suggest that this could be to do with work or to do with your finances, your career path more generally. Could also be to do with your health. Those are the spheres that the Pentacles cards tend to cover. Sometimes they cover like family and home as well, but I think we will get more specific messages from your oracle cards, so I'm going to plunge straight into those now. New moon in Virgo, trust all will be well. That's a really lovely message that suggests that you're being taken care of. Things are going to turn out well for you. Your spirit guides want you to know that you are being watched over. I'm also getting a message as well of fairness. So something to do with like a decision being made fairly in your favor, or you kind of treating people fairly, or going about things in a fair way, even if that's not how people have behaved towards you. So that's an important message for some of you to bear in mind. Thoughtfulness, cowslip, Duke of Burgundy, butterfly. Lovely. So thoughtfulness. This fits well with the message around decision making. Your base card here is spirituality, cherry blossom, Chinese peacock, butterfly. So some of you perhaps wanting to commit more to your spirituality, or wanting to learn more about a particular religion or spiritual practice, a spiritual topic. It's definitely something that Melchizedek can help with. You know, the card title Higher Learning assigned to his card is not there in vain. He is excellent at teaching us, especially about spiritual topics, but he can be a great ascended master to turn to for help or guidance or insight when you are looking to learn anything, not necessarily spiritual stuff, but if you are studying, or if there's anything that you want to learn more about, you can ask him to support you in that endeavor, or to give you assistance, or to guide you down the right path. Wow. Okay. This one's being a bit wild. So you have apple, forbidden. Interesting, forbidden. Maybe you're trying to learn about something that you were always prohibited from learning about when you were younger. Maybe this is something to do with spirituality or a particular career path that your parents would have forbidden you from following. Lemon, bitterness as well. Yeah. Some of you really have a lot of regrets that you were stopped from doing this at an earlier stage in your life, whether that was due to actual prohibition, like your family members telling you you cannot do this, or knowing that you would have been shunned by your community for doing a certain thing, or be considered a failure by them for pursuing a certain path. Or for some of you, it is more just around like life got in the way, life circumstances made it very difficult. Perhaps you couldn't afford tuition, or you didn't have time because you were a single parent working more than one job. You know, there was just no time for studying. I would say don't let that bitterness consume you. Group 2, try and enjoy this experience, because I see you going down this learning path and it really is like a fresh start for you. You know, you're sort of new beginnings, opening up to learning, and that I'm hearing that kind of changes your perspective, changes how you see the world. So try not to let this lovely fresh start be tainted by the regret or the anger or bitterness that you might feel about having been prevented from pursuing this previously, because I think that just, your spirit guides are kind of saying that focusing on that, although it's fine to feel it, but focusing on it would sort of start your new journey out on the wrong foot. You know, it sets the wrong tone for what should be a happy and exciting new beginning. Number 45, I am one with the infinite consciousness. Yeah, this is quite a spiritual reading, group 2. Even if this situation, this thing that you're learning about is not connected directly to spirituality, I feel as though it does change your perspective on the world somewhat. And the fact that you might be spending a decent chunk of time in a quiet space, you know, trying to study or revise what you've already learned or write up exams potentially, it does open up this opportunity for you to think more and to be quiet and be alone with spirit. So even if this thing that you're pursuing isn't religion or spiritual aligned or connected, it does feel as though you're still getting those kinds of insights through it anyway. Emperor Penguin. Small steps lead to profound metamorphosis. Yeah, so this is obviously, it's just, you know, a fresh start. It's the start of a journey. It is the first few steps that you're taking, but I do see it really turning into something that transforms your perspective. As I said, I keep getting that word like perspective or mindset, or the way that you view the world is something that's changing. Now these are the Ancestor cards, so we'll see what messages are coming in from your ancestors. So they say take time out, siesta, recharge, rest. Always important if you're very focused on something or putting a lot of effort into something. And answer the call, explore, travel, live. Yeah, that fits so well with both the Fool and Judgment. Answer the call. Making the changes necessary to follow that path that has been calling out for you for quite some time, something you've really been drawn to for a long time. And now finally, circumstances are such that you can pursue it. And I really strongly get the feeling that for many of you, this is connected to learning or studying or gaining training or qualifications. So some of you are training to do a particular career or to advance in your career so you can earn more, sort of go up in terms of status and expertise. Some of you, it's not career related, but it is definitely along the studying and learning side. Even if it's not formal study, like it's something that requires quite a lot of reading, learning, watching how other people do it. This one is Elephant Spirit, Learn from the Past, number 25. Perhaps some of you studying history or politics or something. Lovely base card here. Spirit has a plan. Koala Spirit, 35. You're doing this for a reason, group 2. Learn from the past can also be connected to this bitterness message of like, don't let the past spoil the future. If there were elements of your own choices that led to you not being able to pursue this, which won't be the case for everyone, but if that is the case, then this is just a reminder of don't let that happen again. You know, try your best to notice when it feels similar to how it did before and see if you can preempt that and make changes. Yes, oh my God. Education. My word, number 35, again, education. So much here about learning, studying, finding something out, qualifications. Your base card, follow the leader. What did I say about you needing to watch how other people do things or study, even if it's not, you know, reading and writing essays, it's to do with really carefully analyzing a lot of information and then trying to replicate it yourself. Okay, so here you have the message or letter, number 27, third house. Group 1 got this one as well. So this is about some kind of communication or information coming to you, which is important. And you also have number 13, the child, 5th house. So this is connected to fun, healing your inner child, you know, especially if many of you were prevented from doing this kind of thing when you were younger. Like this is something you've always been interested in and you were stopped from pursuing this. This is also just a reminder as well to have fun. Find time and space for downtime. Try not to get too overly serious with the study. Try and have fun with it. You know, it is something you're pursuing because you're interested in it. But when you are so determined on doing well and on studying seriously, you often kind of lose that spark and that excitement for it. So try your best to remember to enjoy it. Genuine love. Yeah, as I said, like this is something you really, really enjoy doing, really are interested in. So do your best to try and make it into a game if that's possible with studying or revising, or try to break up your study sessions with downtime, with rests, you know, this message here of taking time out. Maybe try the Pomodoro technique for those of you that aren't familiar with it. That's where you study, I think it's for 20 or 25 minutes, and then there's a 5-minute break. And I find that often really helps me to focus when there's like a task, especially like a writing task that I really cannot be bothered to do. I'm really not in the mood for. That helps my brain to focus in and thinks, come on, let's make the most of this, whatever it is, 20 or 25 minutes. And then we get a little bit of a breather and we'll get so much done in that time. So techniques like that might also help you guys. So let's get your charms and dice on top now. So we'll do your charms first, and I'm going to pull them from this lovely charm tin. Group 2. Okay, so you have a couple of letters here, you've got Q, N, and T. Now, when I see Q, I often think of question, like questioning or having a question, finding the answer to a question. I'm not sure if I can think of a word. It's almost like question not, like don't question something. If you've maybe been wondering whether this is the right thing for you to pursue, maybe the answer is, of course, don't question it. This is something you've always wanted to do. So what do we have? We have the snowflake. This is a winter time marker. This could be related to a situation that started or is going to finish in winter. It's also, when I think of the snowflake, I think of that term snowflake, you know, thinking of being vulnerable or feeling sensitive. I don't attach any kind of morality judgment to that meaning of snowflake. When I see the symbol in the reading, I'm kind of thinking like you might just be feeling kind of vulnerable. This might be a whole new experience for you, and you may be quite sensitive or, you know, easily spooked in this situation. What else do we have? Perfume. Feeling attracted towards something. Definitely makes a lot of sense. Got the dragonfly down here. This is a good luck symbol. Also a symbol of fire elementals, including dragons and also salamanders being with you. You have the treasure map. This is a really lovely charm to receive because it says that you're going to find treasure. Finding something valuable, finding perhaps the answer to a question or a wish being granted. X marks the spot, you're going to find it. The binoculars is like analysis, taking a closer look at something, really looking deeply at the details. Definitely fits for those of you in education, especially if you're studying for exams or something. The leaf, to me, it's like shedding leaves. I think of letting things fall away that don't work anymore. It makes me think of release, changing cycles, perhaps some of you even changing the way you look. You know, if we think of the leaves as being a tree's clothing in a way, and they change with the seasons. Maybe you're going through a period where, because you're having such a brand new experience and you're maybe surrounded by new people and new ideas, maybe that's having an effect on how you see yourself and therefore how you want to dress or present yourself to the world. Maybe that has, you know, had an effect on your style. Maybe people are then questioning that and being like, oh, you've changed so much since you've started doing this. Or you're going to be questioning it, thinking, am I just pretending to be someone I'm not? And there's that word not coming through again. But I think honestly, what you're doing now is resulting from genuine love and genuine passion and interest. So I think as much as it's fine to be thoughtful and reflect on these things, I think don't give yourself too much of a hard time. Group 2, just allow yourself to explore. Going to be learning a lot during this time. Equally, I should have said, like, with the letters, you might get words, you might get names, places, initials of people or things, maybe even books that you're having to read. They all might come to you. That's completely fine. Just take whatever resonates with you. Now that I'm looking at it like this, I'm seeing quaint as well. The word quaint, maybe something is kind of cute or twee to you. You have a tree here. This represents stability and growth, good health, firm foundations, possibly also ancestry as well. You know, we have your ancestors here. There's something about learning from the past. Maybe you're the first person in your family to go to university, or maybe the other way around, like maybe you're following in the footsteps of a parent or older sibling who followed a similar path. Very interestingly, you have the happy couple, like a bride and groom, and you also have just married. So some of you are recently married or have recently been proposed to, or if not, then that's potentially on the cards for some of you. Some of you possibly trying to get qualified for something before your wedding, because then you know that you want to have children quite quickly and that, you know, your career might be affected by that. The crow. Crow represents the Celtic goddess Morrigan, goddess of death and war and turbulence and violence. So you might feel like this is quite a lot of upheaval that you're going through, lots of change that maybe at times feels outside of your control. Your spirit guides are asking you to trust, have faith through this process, trust that you have the ability to get the results that you want despite feeling out of control or like it's out of your hands. And then your last charm is this seashell. So this is another like deity charm for me. Makes me think of Aphrodite, but also potentially any sea deities. You do have the sea showing up a couple of times here with the Vikings sailing on the sea and the emperor penguin. She also seems to be on the banks of a kind of misty shore on this card, so maybe that has some meaning for you. Equally with the seashell, it makes me think of summer, so you've got summer and winter present in your reading. So let's finish up now with your dice. Group 2, we'll see what they have to say. I dropped that. Okay, so group 2, we are going to roll the third set of dice for you, and when I say the third set, I have 10 different sets of dice. They all have different themes, so I pre-roll to work out which one we're going to use in your reading. And the third set are the mystery dice. And then we're going to roll 6 of them for you, and because there are 9 individual dice in each set. Just saw the word queen there as well with the Q and N. Okay, what have we got here? So the microscope, now that fits well, similar to the binoculars. Like, see them both as being about taking a closer look at something, really analyzing something. Maybe some of you are studying scientific subjects. You have the brain as well, of course, doing a lot of thinking, thoughtfulness, like we got with this card, really thinking things through. The handcuffs, so you might feel restrained, restricted, like you have limited freedom at this time. But honestly, you know, if you are studying for exams and that's how you're feeling, you do acknowledge that this is a temporary situation, you know, or even if this is a longer term degree where you're not quite at the exam period yet, you still know that it's temporary. It's not going to last forever. You have this controlled period of time in which you need to focus on this. And that's what your spirit guides are reminding you of. It's not going to feel this way forever. What else do we have? There's the siren. Something, your attention is being drawn somewhere. Something's trying to catch your attention. Alarm bells ringing. Maybe this is a reminder of, like, make sure you've covered everything as far as you can. Try not to leave things too late. You know, like start writing an essay the night before the deadline. Equally, just stay alert. I think some of the best messages you receive kind of happen not from specific, like, didactic teaching, but little realizations that you have just based on a sentence that someone says in the entirety of an hour-long lecture, for example. You just suddenly, you know, that sentence just makes everything click and you just realize something, whether it's about your course or whether it's about life in general or a situation that you're dealing with. So there might be some like signs and symbols that come to you through unusual means. Then you have the person falling through the trap door. So I do get the sense that a lot of you are really worried about failure. You're really worried about not achieving something in the right way or not achieving it to a standard that you are hopeful for. I'm kind of getting like, if it's going well now, then something's got to go wrong, or, you know, it can only be going well for a temporary period of time, or I must have missed something. You know, maybe you've got this really high alert nervous system that's saying if it feels fine, then you've definitely done something wrong and you've forgotten about it. And oh my God, it's only going to hit you when you're in the exam that you've forgotten to, you know, revise an entire module of this stuff. And I think you can afford to take a bit of a breather. You know, you've been told to rest as much as possible, to have fun as much as possible. Like, these instincts are there for a reason, and they are trying to be helpful, but oftentimes the way that they operate feels anything but, you know, feels terrifying and overwhelming, and like they're just there to disturb your inner peace. So try as much as you can, and I know it's so much easier to say than to do, but try as much as you can to silence those voices of terror that are just determined to make you feel like a failure or terrify you into thinking that you've definitely forgotten something. And finally, you have the two people just kind of whistling, passing something to each other like spies. Maybe there is an opportunity to help someone out kind of off the record. Maybe someone offers to help you cheat at something. But I'm kind of getting a neutral feeling from this, like, in all honesty. Normally when I get this, I'm like, look out for someone who's being shady or who offers you something that seems too good to be true. On this occasion, I'm wondering if it's just literally like someone who was in the course a few years before you offers you their old books, and those books are full of notations that are super helpful, and you feel kind of guilty because you're getting this extra assistance for free, but you're not actually breaking any rules. So it feels something like that. As long as you're within that kind of bounds of cheating or bending the rules, then I think you're fine. But don't take on something that feels risky. You know, the alarm bells are there for a reason when you start thinking of potential ways, or someone offers you something that seems, you know, too good to refuse. So yeah, this is what your spirit guides are telling you. They are letting you know that this is a exciting new experience for you. You should really seize the day, enjoy it for everything that it can bring you. This will be beneficial for you. This will pay dividends in the future. Group 2, and it's important that you trust yourself, that you allow whatever changes need to happen to unfold, and try your best not to focus on past mistakes or things in the past that have prevented you or held you back in comparison to other people, because that will just sort of discolor the lovely experience that you should be having right now with this thing that you genuinely love and are passionate about. So I hope you enjoyed this, Group 2. I hope it was helpful for you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me here today. It's been really an honor and a pleasure to do this reading for you. I would love to hear in the comments how this resonated with you, maybe a bit about your situation if you feel comfortable doing that. And if you did enjoy this video, please do like, share and subscribe as well, because that really helps out my channel. I really appreciate it personally. And if you are subscribed and have your notifications switched on, that gives you the best chance of finding out when I post something new, because I don't have a regular uploading schedule at the moment. And also YouTube seems to be a bit quirky with its algorithm. Since I've come back from my hiatus, it doesn't seem to be showing my videos in the same way, or doesn't seem to be showing them to people that are actually subscribed to me, which is a bit peculiar. So that is the best way to stay updated as to when I'm posting. But I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Group 2, thank you again for being here. Good luck with this situation. Take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hi there, Group 3. Welcome to your reading. This is for those of you who chose Master Jesus, Forgiveness, and the Neopets Tarot. So if we just take a closer look at this card to begin with, this one says, you are on the path of light, love, and forgiveness. Father healing is possible at this time. So that's an interesting message. Won't resonate for all of you, but we'll put that card just there. That is a lovely message from Master Jesus. And that is a message for you, regardless of whether that relates to today's reading, because we might end up focusing on something else in your reading today. But that is a message from Master Jesus for you. So light, love, and forgiveness. And for some of you, Father healing. So Group 3, let's see what messages your spirit guides or spiritual team have for you. We'll start with your tarot, the lovely Neopets tarot that I have been using a lot recently. Okay, so we have Knight of Pentacles as your first tarot card. So that is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Then we have Seven of Swords. Two of Cups. And the Tower. Okay, group 3. So your spirit guides want you to know that this is a time of change for you, and that you have been coping well with this, or that you've been doing well to get to where you are. I feel like there's going to be a lot that we get from the Oracle cards. And just for context, for those of you who are new, I always start with some tarot cards here, and then I fill the rest of the mat with Oracle cards. And then after that, we get various other media, whether it's charms and dice, which it usually is, and that's what we're doing today. Sometimes we also have divination tokens or rune stones, or a book of answers. So there's all different kinds of things that we like to use, but charms and dice are the staple alongside the cards. But I feel like there is a lot that we're going to get from that. So let's start with your Oracle cards now. There's definitely something here about the effort you've put in, and that being really praiseworthy. Group 3, there's also something here to do with love, your romantic relationships. Also something about keeping things under wraps, or possibly not having all of the information. Either you're keeping the information to yourself for now and not making it public, or there is information that you are not yet aware of, which is maybe stopping you from making an informed choice. Attend to the details, last quarter moon in Virgo. Yeah, so something here about the needing to be aware of all the facts or all the information. Hope, hawthorn, black-veined white butterfly. Lovely hope. Green heron, profit through learning and observation. Base card here is pheasant. Adapt to place and circumstance to discover happiness and contentment. So possibly you're just not feeling like you have all of the information. Group 3, that you're kind of struggling with maybe being on new territory and feeling a bit like you're on shaky ground because you don't quite know what you're meant to be doing. Ultimately, I think there's something here about following other people, taking your lead from other people. Maybe you've recently started a new job and it's a lot to get to grips with, and you just need to try and see how other people are doing things, for example. Or you've moved to a new area, trying to get to know people, just trying to see kind of where the land lies. Two cards from this deck. My body is a manifestation of my energetic state. Number 3, beautiful. I release negative thoughts about myself and my life. Number 13. Now both of those seem to resonate with each other. My body is a manifestation of my energetic state. I release negative thoughts about myself and my life. So possibly some of you have been struggling with your appearance, your physical health, libido, energy levels, concentration, that sort of thing. And the key to unlocking the state that you want to be in, whatever it might be, is the way that you're thinking. So that fits nicely with this hope message. Attend to the details as well, potentially. Yeah, also, maybe we can see this with the Seven of Swords as meaning that you weren't aware that your thoughts were having so much power over you. Yeah, like the channeled vision that I'm seeing is like someone looking in the mirror and being unhappy and just thinking, oh my goodness, I'm so big or I'm so ugly or whatever. But how could your body, or how could you perceive your body as anything other if that's how you've always thought about yourself? Or if that has been a long-term, like, ingrained sense of self. Lots of blues and greens in your reading as well. Salt protection. Interesting. Group 3, I feel like you have a lot going on. I feel like there's lots of like different messages for various parts of your life here, and that would fit given that you have the Tower, the sense of strong, powerful change. It's like you're really just trying to get your bearings after going through a big upheaval. After accepting a lot of change into your life, you're sort of trying to figure out, okay, how has the dust settled? It'll have settled in a different way, but how exactly? Sad embrace, number 45. And strength, number 44. So this tells me that you don't want to lose any time by wallowing, group 3. And look again at the blues and greens. Like I just mentioned, you have so much blue and green, and then you've got literally a blue card and a green card. Green, obviously associated with the heart chakra, but also with healing and health overall, money sometimes as well, greed or envy can be green. Blue, throat chakra, third eye chakra, depending on the shade of the blue. Sadness can be blue. It's also a very serene color, like very peaceful. That's why Jesus and Mother Mary are often blue, to represent their connection to heaven and their divinity. I'm getting messages, like channeled messages as well, about you not wanting to be held back by any feelings of sadness. Be spirit, sweet results await, number 7. And badger spirit, be fearless and bold, number 4. So yeah, strength, fearlessness, boldness. Does feel like you're ready for these changes, but also that there are just some things that you're not fully happy about, and some of this, a lot of this seems to center on your appearance or the way your body is functioning. So maybe you have something like you've just got a dream holiday booked, but you're having health issues and you're worried that that's going to impact upon your holiday, or your partner just proposed recently. Some of the other piles were talking about weddings and marriage, so that one popped into my mind. But like, your partner just proposed, you're excited about the wedding, but also you're worried that you don't feel that good in yourself. Maybe you wish your hair was healthier, or you wish you were slimmer. Or maybe there are libido issues with your partner and you're worried about how that's going to affect you in the long run. But I see you as being really willing and determined to fix things and change things and tackle things head on. It's just that at the moment, your spirit guides they're sort of acknowledging that you're in this transitionary phase and that you're feeling a bit like your feet aren't on solid ground just yet. Like I'm getting a vision of ice flows like breaking apart and moving apart on a melting lake. That sense of like, oh, I'm not sure where I'm standing. Is it secure kind of thing? Okay. So these are the lovely Ancestor cards. So your ancestors say, treat your body well, exercise, meditate, massage. Okay, so there's a lot here about the physical body, whether that is health or whether it's just cosmetic, just how you feel within yourself, group 3. Embrace your inner gypsy, freedom, fun, music. So this is about feeling confident. This is about wearing what you want to wear, styling yourself the way you want to, moving and feeling that connection with your body without the self-consciousness. Maybe some of you are going to feel drawn to taking dance classes, for example, and that's something that you would never normally do because you feel so self-conscious and awkward and, painful about the whole situation, but it actually helps you to learn to connect with your body more and you feel much more confident in your own skin. And maybe it also helps you to lose some weight if that's something that you've been hoping to do. Psychic strength, shield, talismans, gold light. Now this is the second message you've had about protection. So you have this here, protection, salt protection, and then shield, talismans, gold light. Protecting yourself, protecting your energy. I think this is especially important during any sort of transition phase, group 3. If you are starting afresh somewhere or if you're not quite on solid ground yet, I really encourage you to protect yourself in whatever way possible. I always find it really helpful to call upon Archangel Michael for protection. Just asking him and his angels of protection to surround you or surround your family or loved ones or your home, for example, and keep everyone within it safe and all the contents as well. This is number 12, Owls, Pluto. Owls kind of connects to gossip and rumors. It also makes me think of fussing, like hustle and bustle, or a lot of like much ado about nothing, or even just being stressed about something, even if it's not nothing. Just kind of indicates that time of like flustered, stressed, anxious feelings and not quite feeling as though you know who to turn to. That element of gossip and rumors sort of suggests that there are people that you don't want to trust. Maybe you've recently pulled away from certain relationships and you're really feeling the void of not having those people, although you acknowledge that those people weren't supportive of you really, or that they weren't nice people. You're still feeling the void of having that connection. Pluto is also interesting because Pluto is the planet of change, planet also of, so it's called like the planet of sex and death. It's anything that is taboo, anything that is like really deeply rooted within you, and therefore when it's affected, it can create the most profound internal change, which then affects your entire external life. Pluto rules the 8th house. So anything crossing the 8th house can also have that sort of effect. Make a commitment. Deception and secrets. Don't trust. Yeah, this all fits in with the Seven of Swords, which is about hidden information. And also your base card here is seek for answers. It's like there's something that you don't quite know enough about yet that you're trying to find out more. Protecting yourself. You know, I am also getting the feeling that for many of you, this isn't about you being lied to or people not being, well, not people not being trustworthy, but I feel it, you know, I get a very strong feeling when it's you are being lied to or you are being deceived. And actually, group 3, I think it's more that you are keeping things to yourself, or you are trying to, what's the word, like affect who knows what and when. So, you know, your personal information is not necessarily something that you want to share with everyone at this time for whatever reason. So maybe there are people in your life, or perhaps no longer in your life, but who know other people in your social circle. And so you don't want to really advertise or shout about certain things, such as a move or a new job or birth of a child or a new relationship, because you don't want that level of information getting back to these certain people that you don't trust. Maybe you previously knew or currently know some really gossipy people who are just backstabby. You're trying to protect your energy as you move forward because you don't want to be bringing any of that negativity forward into this lovely new life that you're building for yourself. And especially while you still feel a little bit uncertain because you're getting to grips with the newness and you're not quite in your new routine just yet, or you haven't quite found your new friends or haven't quite figured out your new job or new neighborhood. You want to just keep things uncomplicated. And Spirit is completely supporting that, group 3, and they're really asking you to take care of yourself on a really basic physical level. Reminding you of your strength as well, and the desire that you have to really push forward and not just become stagnant or wallow in any feelings that, you know, are present. Really, really interesting. I'm going to pull your charms now from the charm tin. This is such a deep reading, group 3. Definitely, you know, a lot of complex stuff going on here for you. And I think possibly the people watching this reading are going to be the people who have the most variation in their situations compared to group 1 and 2. But these are the underlying themes. So let's pull some charms from the charm tin and see what they have to say. I just heard keep putting one foot in front of the other. So true, group 3. Okay, what do we have? We have the lovely fearless charm. Now, wasn't that exact word used here? Be fearless and bold. Yeah. You are fearless, group 3. And I think in many ways, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't feel afraid, but it means that you don't take heed of that fear. You know, you don't let that fear stop you from doing what you need to do. So that is really, really powerful. You have a salamander here, which shows that fire elementals are around you. Salamanders and dragons are present to help you in this situation. You also have sunglasses, seeing things clearly. Also hearing as well, given this landed on the psychic strength card, that you are seeing through certain people. You know, maybe some people have come up to you recently and congratulated you on something, and you're just thinking, you just want information out of me. You know, or maybe someone's come up and they've been like, oh, you know, well done, congratulations, we must catch up over coffee. And you're thinking, yeah, you just want to get some gossip from me that you can run back and tell other people. I think I'll pass on that one. You know, I think you're really starting to like differentiate between people that are worth your time and people that really aren't, group 3. You have a key, which is an amazing symbol of success and the ability to secure your future, the ability to unlock previously locked doors and opportunities. It also makes me think of releasing energy that has been stagnant or blocked for some reason, like unlocking it so it can flow more smoothly. Always such a positive sign when we see a key in a reading. Then here you have a little earth elemental. So it's not just the fire elementals present with you, it's also the earth elementals. They are the gnomes and some of the fairy kingdom as well. So they are also around you. You have lots of like hidden, unseen helpers is what your spirit guides want to tell you. You might not see them or feel them present in your life, but they are there and they are helping you and working on your behalf. So hopefully that is encouraging. You also have the Caduceus. So in amongst all of this, you have the Greek and Roman god Hermes or Mercury, however you prefer to address him. So he is present and he is helping you too. He is a god of many things. He's really multifaceted. I think some of his more well-known patronages are that he is the god of commerce. So he helps anyone who sort of runs a shop or trades in any way. He is the god of travel and foreign lands and foreign cultures and languages. He is also a god who guides spirits to the other world once they've passed. So he could be a good guide for many things, sort of showing us the right way. He's also a god of boundaries and thresholds, liminal spaces, and a god of thieves, logic, and many, many things. He's actually one of my patron deities. You can't see it with the way that I've set the camera up, but just beyond the mat there, I have a large statue of Hermes holding the Caduceus. So yeah, he's always watching over our readings along with our lovely gnomes who are present in your life as well, group 3. So what else do we have? We've got some connected charms here. So you have this crocodile whose tail was holding onto the stag. So the crocodile is a symbol of someone who is manipulative or always looking out for their own interests and not really caring about how they treat other people. The stag, on the other hand, is a symbol of vitality, of libido. We've had that a few times in your reading, so I think that is a prevalent issue for many of you here today. He's a symbol of fertility, but also the divine masculine in general. Maybe some of you have struggled with manipulative male energies in your life, or not feeling able to fully trust and let your guard down with your partner, and therefore there being issues with intimacy or a mismatch there. Little rabbit as well, playfulness, again also a symbol of libido and fertility, so that is showing up very strongly. And also with the March hare, I mean, come on, wow group 3. But also, you know, as I said, this is a symbol of playfulness and having fun. Just more generally, the March hare is also a symbol of being yourself unapologetically. We think of the British English phrase, mad as a March hare, just being yourself, just not feeling the need to conform to anyone else's needs or expectations of who or what you should be. I love that you have the screwdriver, because this is about making something more stable, making foundations firmer, or making something more solid. And I've had lots of messages today about you feeling as though you're on shaky foundations or not solid ground. So that makes complete sense. Over here, there's the thistle. Now, this is a symbol of not letting people in, not letting people get close to you, which could also be connected to what I said about not wanting to let your guard down with regards to emotional connections or physical intimacy. The thistle is also a validation marker for anyone dealing with someone from Scotland. I have lots of charms and dice that point towards geographical locations, whether it's like countries or regions. and this is one of them. And when I say it's a validation of a country, it doesn't mean that you have to be living in Scotland for this to be your reading, but in some cases there will be someone important in your life in this scenario whose name is, I don't know, Kieran, or their surname is MacDonald or something. They don't have to have any Scottish ancestry, but maybe they have a Scottish name, or they're called Ross or something. Maybe they work for a Scottish company, or one that has a Scottish inspired name like Unicorn or something. So just always have fun with my little country markers. It doesn't always fit for everyone, but for a lot of people I think it's quite a powerful validation. Over here we have the shopping basket. This is about shopping for new energy into your life. So on a very mundane level, it could indicate just that you are buying a lot of things at the moment, and that's fine. Your spirit guides say, shop away, If it makes you happy, you're not getting into debt, then go ahead. But also shopping for new energy is how I often see it. It's like you want to bring new things into your life, and you're actively looking to find a way to welcome in fresh new energies, fresh new people, new routines, new places, new habits and hobbies. Then you have Saturn. It's another deity marker, Kronos or Saturn, Greco-Roman god of time, of harvests. Lots of different things. Saturn is, of course, also an astrology marker. So as well as, what did we say? Oh yeah, Pluto and the 8th house. Definitely take a look at your birth chart and your current transits for Saturn. So Saturn, Pluto, both in your birth chart and in current transits. And then if you have time and the inclination, also check out the 8th house, because that is ruled by Pluto, and the 10th house, as that is ruled by Saturn. Just kind of see what's going on there, if there's any important transits, if there's any important alignments in your birth chart, for example. See how that might be affecting your current situation. Then we have the Hanged Man and the Crucifix, sense of being in limbo, needing time to make a decision, being uncertain, thinking things over very thoroughly, maybe almost to the point of overthinking. And finally, the Stork. Don't often see the Stork. This is a nice symbol. New beginnings, fresh starts. For some of you, the birth or conception of a child. Pregnancy, birth announcements, also perhaps in your social circle. Really, really interesting. So group 3, let's finish off now with your dice. Okay, so we are going to use the 10th set of dice for you. Those are the Scooby-Doo themed dice. Just grab those, and I'll roll again to see how many of them we're going to use, because I have 10 sets of dice, and then in each set there are 9 individual dice. So I don't always roll all 9, just because, I always check in advance to see how many of those dice actually have a message for you today. Eight. Okay, so nearly all of them. Let's roll 8 Scooby-Doo dice for you. Group 3. Okay, so what is here? Interesting. Yep. Okay, so a few things. Firstly, so you have this dice showing 2 different ways to go, left or right, down some kind of tunnel or cave, or perhaps a hallway. And then you have this one, which shows people separating. They're splitting up to look for clues. They're going their separate ways. So these... the second one tells me that you are trying to follow your own path and not just do what other people are doing just for the sake of it. But also, Both of these kind of point towards there being very clear, distinct, different paths that you could take, and there being a sense of uncertainty perhaps over what it is that you should be doing or what it is that you should be following. Witch doctor indicates healing, especially healing through unusual or alternative practices, such as sound healing or energy healing, homeopathy, etc. Crystal healing as well. Interesting how this one is landing on the psychic strength card about protection. You might carry certain crystals for protection, or you might do like a sound bath when you get home from work and just visualize it completely clearing your body of any stagnant energies or anything that shouldn't be there. You have the mask here, so there is definitely an element of you wanting to keep some things to yourself, not share everything about your life with everyone. You want some privacy. You want there to be, perhaps also, in this kind of fashion, you want there to be distinct boundaries between things like work life and home life, or whatever it might be. You don't want to just blend those boundaries. You want to keep them really quite separate. Haunted house. Things from your past that haunt you, things that you can't let go of. Memories that you keep playing over and over again in your mind. The person who is slipping down a slope and then being grabbed by his friend, being saved, being rescued. You are really strongly protected, Group 3. I know that many of you really feel like you're going through things really alone, but you have so many unseen helpers who are here to give you a hand and who are doing their best to protect you. So hopefully that will be a positive takeaway from this reading. You are being looked after. You have cursed ring here. Maybe there are some possessions that you could get rid of, like things that they have sentimental value, but realistically the memories that they remind you of aren't actually positive ones. But for whatever reason, you just can't seem to find it within you to throw them away or donate them or sell them. Maybe it's time for a clear out. Maybe that would make you feel better and also affect the energy in your home as well. And finally, the hand reaching out to grab someone around the corner. Maybe feeling like there are people out to get you, or that there are people that you just can't trust. You have this don't trust message. And I don't necessarily feel as though these people are around you right now, Group 3. I think some of you have already made the decision to walk away from these people, but you just don't want anything to invite them back into your life, or you don't want them getting any news about your life, and you just don't like the thought of them having information about you. Some of you will still have these people around, or will just maybe perhaps be wary of new people. For those of you that have moved to a new neighborhood or are starting new jobs, there is just a sense of like, I want to feel like I've established myself before I, share more about my personal life. I want to feel as though I'm really on solid ground and feel comfortable in my environment before I start opening up more beyond the basic information and what I'm doing there professionally. So I hope this was helpful, Group 3. This has been a super interesting reading for me to do because it's so multifaceted. Ultimately, just to summarize your reading, there is a lot here about your mental state and your thought patterns affecting your body, whether that's in health or appearance or just how you feel within it. You are encouraged to connect with your body more in a way that feels comfortable for you, whether it's dancing, yoga, just more movement generally, massage, etc. Taking care of yourself. You might want to change your hair or implement a skincare routine, whatever it might be. And your spirit guides are really validating the fact that you don't want to share loads of information about your life. They're saying that's fine. They're acknowledging that you are going through or have recently been through a lot of upheaval, and that you're just trying to find some time to steady yourself and get back on your feet. They're also letting you know that there is a lot to be hopeful about, that you have really made great strides already, and you should be really proud of that. And in addition to that, lots of them are trying to protect you. You have a lot of unseen help from spiritual protectors and rescuers and helpers. So hopefully that is also very reassuring and encouraging to Group 3. So I really hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for spending this time with me here today. It is an honor and a pleasure to have done this reading for you. Please do let me know more in the comments about your situation or whether this resonated, because I would love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video, please do consider liking, sharing, subscribing. That really helps my channel. It also means a lot to me on a personal level. And also, given that I don't have a consistent uploading schedule just yet, it would be helpful if you enjoyed this video and want to see more to be subscribed and have notifications switched on, because since I've come back from my hiatus, YouTube is being little bit weird. Algorithm is a little bit kooky. I think my videos aren't really being shown to many of my subscribers, or certainly not all of them. So if you want to be notified, that is going to be the best way, because it looks like just being subscribed perhaps might not be enough. So bear with me. Hopefully things will improve. But yeah, I would love to see you here again. It's been lovely spending this time with you. I wish you all the best of luck in this situation, Group 3. Have a lovely rest of your day. Take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.